your new child and, proclaim that he's the best looking or the best everything. Where I can be, I'm as independent as I want to be, and same as Catherine and Harry. We've all grown up, differently to our other generations, and I very much feel if I can do it myself.
The moment Prince William broke down in tears when palace staff discovered Diana's hidden truth buried for decades. What they found will stun you. A secret so devastating it's already changing the royal family forever. You won't believe what Diana left behind that has King Charles in crisis mode and the world demanding answers. Windsor Castle, one of the oldest occupied castles in the world, has served as the backdrop for countless royal moments throughout its 900-year history.
In the back of my mind for quite a while, the whole climate change debate, environmental issues growing, pollution. So I've always felt very strongly about it, and I've been watching very carefully what others have been doing. And for me, over the last few years, the urgency and the positivity.
The iconic round tower, which dominates the castle's skyline, houses something particularly significant: the Royal Archives. This collection contains over 12 million documents, spanning more than 3 centuries of British royal history. According to the Royal Collection Trust, these archives preserve the personal and official correspondence of monarchs from George III onwards, along with administrative records from various departments of the royal household. The Royal Archives were formally established in 1914, during the early years of King George V's reign. The need for such an archive became apparent following Queen Victoria's death in 1901, when her 63-year reign left behind an enormous collection of official and private correspondence that required proper preservation and organization. Before this formal establishment, historic records had been stored in various locations throughout royal residences, often in tin trunks and cupboards, with no appointed archivist to care for them. Within this vast collection lie documents that span some of the most significant moments in British history, from personal diaries and private letters to official government correspondence and administrative records. The archives provide researchers with unprecedented insights into the lives and work of past monarchs and their families. The collection includes papers from George III and George IV, military documents from the Duke of Cumberland, and materials from the exiled Stuarts after 1688. Even earlier items exist, including medieval and Tudor materials, such as a jewel list from Edward I's wardrobe, dating to 1297. Access to these archives, however, is strictly controlled. As a private collection belonging to the royal family, requests for public access must be approved based on the researcher's needs and qualifications. This has led to ongoing debates among historians and academics about transparency and accessibility. Some scholars have reported difficulties obtaining access to certain materials, with concerns raised about potential censorship of sensitive historical information. The archives continue to grow, with documents from more recent reigns being added regularly. Papers from George V, Edward VIII, and George VI have all been incorporated, along with private correspondence and diaries from George V and Queen Mary. Materials from other royal family members, including Queen Elizabeth, the Queen Mother, have also found their way into the collection. Today, the archives are processing records from Queen Elizabeth II's 70-year reign and documents related to Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh. Princess Diana's relationship with the royal family was complex and often turbulent, particularly during the later years of her marriage to then Prince Charles. Their separation in 1992 and subsequent divorce in 1996 were highly publicized events that marked a significant period of change for the monarchy. During these years, Diana became increasingly outspoken about her experiences within the royal family, most notably in her famous 1995 interview with Martin Bashir on BBC's Panorama program. In that interview, Diana made several revelations about her marriage and her role within the royal family. She spoke about feeling isolated and unsupported, her struggles with mental health, and her belief that there were forces working against her. The interview sent shockwaves through the establishment and contributed to the eventual formalization of her divorce from Charles. It also revealed Diana's determination to maintain her independence and continue her charitable work despite the challenges she faced. The Princess of Wales had always been conscious of her public image and the power of media attention. She understood how to use publicity to advance causes she cared about, from her work with AIDS patients to her campaign against landmines. This media savvy extended to her personal life as well, as she was known to keep detailed records and correspondence that documented her experiences and relationships. According to various biographers and former staff members, Diana was meticulous about preserving certain documents and letters. Royal correspondent Andrew Morton, who worked closely with Diana on his 1992 biography, has spoken about her careful approach to documentation. Similarly, her former butler Paul Burrell has described how she would often instruct him to keep specific letters or documents safe, suggesting she understood their potential historical significance. The practice of royal family members preserving personal documents is not unusual. Throughout history, monarchs and their relatives have maintained extensive correspondence and personal papers, many of which eventually find their way into official archives. These documents often provide valuable insights for historians studying royal family dynamics, political relationships, and social changes over time. In Diana's case, her awareness of her unique position in history may have motivated her to ensure certain aspects of her story would be preserved. Friends and confidants have suggested that she was concerned about how history would remember her and wanted to ensure that her perspective on events would be available to future generations. This included not only her public work and charitable activities, but also her personal experiences within the royal family. The question of what documents Diana may have left behind has been a subject of speculation for years. Various authors and journalists have suggested that she maintained personal files containing correspondence, diary entries, and other materials that could shed new light on her experiences. However, the location and contents of any such documents remain largely unknown to the public. Royal protocol typically dictates that personal papers of deceased family members are handled with great sensitivity. The royal family has historically been protective of private correspondence and personal documents, often keeping such materials within their own archives rather than allowing public access. This approach has sometimes led to frustration among researchers and biographers seeking to understand the complete picture of royal family life and relationships. The continued interest in Princess Diana's story reflects her enduring impact on both the royal family and British society as a whole. Her approach to royal duties, her openness about personal struggles, and her charitable work helped reshape public expectations of what it means to be a member of the royal family. This transformation has continued through her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, who have both spoken publicly about carrying forward their mother's legacy. Prince William, as the heir to the throne, has incorporated many of his mother's causes into his own royal duties. His work on homelessness, mental health awareness, and environmental issues clearly reflects Diana's influence on his approach to public service. Similarly, Prince Harry's charitable work, particularly his involvement with organizations supporting veterans and mental health initiatives, demonstrates the lasting impact of his mother's example. The relationship between Diana's sons and their father, now King Charles III, has evolved significantly since her death. Both William and Harry have spoken about the importance of honoring their mother's memory, while also maintaining family relationships and supporting the institution of the monarchy. This balance between personal grief and public duty reflects the complex dynamics that have always characterized royal family life. The royal family's approach to transparency has changed considerably since Diana's death. The monarchy has become more open about personal struggles and family challenges, with family members speaking more candidly about mental health, relationship difficulties, and the pressures of royal life. This shift toward greater openness can be seen as part of Diana's lasting influence on the institution. Recent developments within the royal family have kept Diana's memory in the public consciousness. The 2021 unveiling of a statue in her honor at Kensington Palace, attended by both of her sons, demonstrated the continued importance of her legacy. However, the subsequent estrangement between William and Harry has also highlighted ongoing tensions that some observers link back to unresolved issues from the time of Diana's death. The question of what additional insights into Diana's life and thoughts might exist continues to generate interest among both serious researchers and the general public. While the Royal Archives contain extensive documentation about royal family life, the specific contents related to Diana's final years remain largely inaccessible to outside researchers. This limitation has led to ongoing speculation about what materials might exist and what they might reveal about her experiences and intentions. As time passes, the historical significance of any documents Diana may have left behind only increases. Her death at the age of 36 cut short a life that had already significantly impacted the monarchy and British society. Any additional insights into her thoughts, plans, or concerns during her final years would undoubtedly be of great interest to historians studying this pivotal period in royal family history. The process of archival investigation and document verification within royal institutions follows strict protocols that have been developed over more than a century. When the Royal Archives were formally established in 1914, specific procedures were put in place to ensure the proper handling, authentication, and preservation of documents related to the British monarchy. These protocols have evolved significantly since then, incorporating modern conservation techniques and digital preservation methods. Professional archivists working within the Royal Archives undergo extensive training in document handling and authentication procedures. According to the Royal Collection Trust, the archives employ several qualified archivists, along with a small clerical staff and volunteers, who are crucial in maintaining collections, developing exhibitions, and facilitating research. The day-to-day operations are overseen by an archive services manager, who reports to the assistant keeper of the Royal Archives, a position traditionally held by the Royal Librarian. Document authentication within royal collections involves multiple layers of verification. Each item that enters the archives must be thoroughly examined for authenticity, provenance, and historical significance. This process typically begins with an initial assessment of the document's physical characteristics, including paper quality, ink composition, handwriting analysis, and any visible security features or official seals. Experts also examine the document's context, checking whether the content aligns with known historical facts and whether the language and terminology used are appropriate for the claimed time period. The conservation studio within the Round Tower at Windsor Castle plays a crucial role in this verification process. According to the Georgian Papers program, each document is assessed individually for its conservation needs before any preservation work takes place. This detailed examination often reveals important information about a document's age, origin, and authenticity. The Royal Bindery, also located on site, handles more complex restoration work when necessary. Modern technology has significantly enhanced the authentication process. The Royal Archives have invested in advanced digitization equipment, including A1 scanners with robotic cradles capable of handling large volumes of documents. This technology allows for detailed digital analysis of documents while minimizing physical handling that could cause damage. High-resolution scanning can reveal details invisible to the naked eye, such as watermarks, subtle alterations, or signs of forgery. The Digital Preservation Project has been particularly important for making historical documents more accessible while protecting the originals. The Georgian Papers program, a collaboration between the Royal Archives, the Royal Library, and academic institutions, has made thousands of historical documents available online. This project demonstrates the archive's commitment to transparency while maintaining appropriate security measures for sensitive materials. Access to the Royal Archives remains strictly controlled, reflecting the private nature of the collection. Unlike public archives, which operate under freedom of information legislation, the Royal Archives are considered a private family collection. Researchers seeking access must demonstrate legitimate academic or historical interest and undergo security clearance. This has led to ongoing debates about transparency and public access to historical information. Some historians and researchers have expressed concerns about the accessibility of royal documents. The restrictions have been compared to those imposed by intelligence agencies, with critics arguing that important historical information remains hidden from public scrutiny. In response to these concerns, the Royal Collection Trust has emphasized their commitment to facilitating access to historic collections while balancing the need for privacy and security. The establishment of clear protocols for document handling became particularly important following several high-profile cases involving royal correspondence. The sale of Princess Diana's personal letters at various auctions over the years has highlighted the complex issues surrounding the preservation and ownership of royal documents. These sales have provided insights into Diana's private thoughts and experiences, but they have also raised questions about the appropriate handling of such sensitive materials. Recent auction sales have revealed the substantial market value placed on authentic royal correspondence. In 2023, a collection of 32 letters written by Princess Diana during her divorce proceedings sold for over $170,000. These letters, written between 1994 and 1997 to close friends Susie and Tarek Kassem, provided intimate glimpses into Diana's emotional state during her final years. The authentication of these letters required extensive verification to confirm their genuineness before they could be offered for sale. The authentication process for Diana's letters involved several key steps. Experts examined the handwriting against known samples of her correspondence, verified the stationery and royal ciphers used, and cross-referenced the content with documented events from the relevant time periods. The letters were written on official Kensington Palace stationery, bearing Diana's royal cipher, which provided important authentication markers. Additionally, the provenance of the letters could be traced directly to the recipients, who had maintained them privately for over 25 years. Content analysis also played a crucial role in verification. The letters contained specific references to contemporary events, personal relationships, and Diana's emotional state that aligned with other documented information from the same period. For example, her references to feeling monitored and her belief that her phone lines were being recorded matched similar concerns she had expressed in other verified communications and interviews. The preservation of Diana's personal correspondence has provided historians with valuable insights into her mindset during the difficult period of her separation and divorce. Her letters revealed her vulnerability, her concerns about the future, and her determination to maintain her independence despite the challenges she faced. These documents have contributed to a more nuanced understanding of her experiences within the royal family structure. Professional document examiners employ various techniques to verify the authenticity of historical correspondence. Handwriting analysis involves comparing letter formation, pen pressure, writing speed, and individual characteristics that are difficult to forge. Paper analysis can reveal information about the document's age and origin, while ink analysis can detect modern forgeries that use contemporary materials inconsistent with the claimed date of creation. The authentication of royal documents also requires careful consideration of historical context. Experts must verify that the content, language, and references within a document are consistent with the time period and circumstances in which it was supposedly created. This includes checking dates against known royal schedules, verifying locations mentioned in the correspondence, and ensuring that the relationships and events described align with documented historical facts. Watermark analysis represents another important authentication technique. Many official papers used by the royal family contain specific watermarks that can be verified against known samples from particular time periods. The presence or absence of correct watermarks can provide strong evidence for or against a document's authenticity. The process of cataloging and organizing royal documents follows internationally recognized archival standards. Each item receives a unique identifier and detailed catalog entry that includes information about its physical characteristics, provenance, content summary, and any relevant historical context. This systematic approach ensures that documents can be efficiently located and that their authenticity and significance are properly documented for future researchers. Security measures within the Royal Archives reflect the sensitive nature of the collection. The Round Tower's medieval architecture has been adapted with modern security systems to protect the documents from theft, damage, and unauthorized access. Climate control systems maintain optimal temperature and humidity levels to prevent deterioration, while fire suppression systems protect against potential disasters. The digitization process has created additional security benefits by reducing the need to handle original documents. High-quality digital copies allow researchers to study texts without risking damage to fragile originals. The digital archive also serves as a backup system, ensuring that information is preserved even if physical documents are lost or damaged. Staff training within the Royal Archives emphasizes both technical skills and ethical considerations. Archivists must maintain strict confidentiality about sensitive information, while also supporting legitimate historical research. This balance requires careful judgment and adherence to established protocols for handling requests and managing access to controversial or sensitive materials. The ongoing processing of documents from Queen Elizabeth II's long reign presents particular challenges for the archives. The volume of material generated during her 70-year tenure as monarch is unprecedented, requiring significant resources for proper organization and preservation. The addition of digital communications and modern media formats has also required the development of new preservation techniques and storage systems. Collaboration with external institutions has become increasingly important for the Royal Archives. Partnerships with universities and research institutions help ensure that royal documents are studied by qualified scholars while maintaining appropriate security and privacy protections. These collaborations also provide access to specialized expertise and resources that enhance the archive's capabilities. The authentication and preservation of Princess Diana's correspondence represents just one aspect of the ongoing work within the Royal Archives. As new documents continue to enter the collection, and existing materials require ongoing conservation, the archives must balance historical preservation with appropriate access and security measures. This delicate balance reflects the unique position of the monarchy as both a private family and a public institution with significant historical importance. The legacy of Princess Diana continues to generate interest in her personal documents and correspondence. As time passes, the historical significance of these materials only increases, making proper authentication and preservation even more critical. The careful work of professional archivists ensures that future generations will have access to authentic historical records that provide genuine insights into this important period of royal history. Understanding the processes involved in document authentication and archival preservation helps illuminate the complex work required to maintain historical accuracy and protect important cultural heritage. The Royal Archives represent a unique repository of British history, and the professional standards maintained by its staff ensure that this heritage is preserved for future generations, while respecting the privacy and dignity of the individuals whose lives are documented within its collections. The transformation of how the royal family approaches charitable work and public engagement can be traced directly to Princess Diana's influence during her lifetime, and the continued impact of her legacy through her sons. The decision to embrace a more open, emotionally connected style of royal duty represents one of the most significant shifts in the monarchy's approach to public service in modern history. Diana's unique approach to charitable work fundamentally changed expectations of what it meant to be a working member of the royal family. Rather than simply appearing at formal ceremonies and ribbon-cutting events, she chose to engage directly with the people she was trying to help. This hands-on approach was revolutionary for its time and created a new template for royal involvement in charitable causes. The princess understood the power of her position and made conscious decisions about how to use her influence most effectively. Her choice to focus on causes that others might consider difficult or uncomfortable, such as HIV/AIDS patients, homeless youth, and landmine victims, demonstrated her commitment to using her platform for meaningful change, rather than safe, traditional royal patronages. Prince William and Prince Harry have spoken extensively about how their mother's approach to charitable work shaped their own understanding of public service. In various interviews over the years, both princes have explained that Diana deliberately exposed them to social issues and charitable work from a young age, taking them on visits to homeless shelters and hospitals. This early exposure to people facing difficult circumstances helped shape their perspective on their roles as members of the royal family. The decision to establish the Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fund, immediately following her death in 1997, reflected the public's desire to continue her charitable work. The fund was created in response to the unprecedented outpouring of public donations that flowed into Kensington Palace in the days and weeks following her death. According to the fund's records, the general public, community groups, and companies donated approximately £34 million directly, with an additional £38 million raised from sales of Elton John's reworked version of Candle in the Wind, performed at her funeral. The Memorial Fund's approach to charitable giving reflected Diana's own philosophy of supporting causes that addressed root problems rather than simply providing temporary relief. Over its 15-year operational period, the fund awarded 727 grants to 471 organizations, distributing over £112 million to charitable causes. The fund's decision to operate with a finite lifespan, spending out all its resources rather than maintaining a permanent endowment, aligned with Diana's belief in taking direct action to create immediate change. The causes supported by the Memorial Fund closely reflected Diana's own charitable interests during her lifetime. The fund focused on supporting disadvantaged people both in the United Kingdom and internationally, with particular emphasis on refugee and asylum seeker support, palliative care for HIV/AIDS patients in sub-Saharan Africa, and programs addressing the ongoing impact of landmines and explosive remnants of war. The integration of the Memorial Fund's work into the Royal Foundation of the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge and Prince Harry in 2012 marked an important transition in how Diana's legacy would be carried forward. This decision brought her charitable vision under the direct oversight of her sons, ensuring that future charitable work would continue to reflect her values and approach, while adapting to contemporary needs and challenges. Prince William's decision to become patron of Centrepoint in 2005 represented one of the most direct continuations of his mother's charitable work. Centrepoint, which provides housing and support for homeless young people across the United Kingdom, had been one of Diana's most important patronages from 1992 until her death. William's explanation of this choice revealed the lasting impact of his mother's approach. "My mother introduced that sort of area to me a long time ago. It was a real eye-opener, and I am very glad she did. It has been something I have held close to me for a long time." The establishment of the Heads Together campaign in 2016 by Prince William, Catherine, Princess of Wales, and Prince Harry represents perhaps the most significant example of how Diana's approach to difficult social issues continues to influence royal charitable work. The campaign's focus on reducing the stigma surrounding mental health issues directly reflects Diana's own openness about personal struggles and her belief that discussing difficult topics publicly could help others facing similar challenges. Prince Harry's public admission in 2017 that he had sought professional help to deal with grief and trauma following his mother's death represented a groundbreaking moment for the royal family. His decision to speak openly about mental health treatment broke with centuries of royal tradition that emphasized stoic public composure regardless of personal difficulties. Mental health experts praised his honesty, noting that his willingness to discuss therapy and emotional struggles could encourage others to seek help. The development of this more open approach to discussing personal challenges can be traced directly to Diana's influence. Her 1995 BBC Panorama interview, in which she discussed her struggles with postnatal depression and self-harm, was unprecedented for a member of the royal family. While the interview was controversial for other reasons, her openness about mental health issues laid the groundwork for a more honest approach to discussing these topics within the royal family. Prince William's work with mental health initiatives has been particularly influenced by his mother's example. His involvement with organizations supporting military veterans, emergency responders, and young people reflects Diana's focus on helping those who face particular psychological challenges. His explanation of this work directly references her influence. "Practically everything in my charitable life, in the end, is to do with mental health. whether it be homelessness, veterans' welfare, my wife, and the work she is doing on addiction. So much of what we do comes back to mental health. The decision to launch the Heads Together campaign as a joint initiative marked a departure from the traditional royal approach of individual patronages. Prince William explained this strategic choice. The royal family has not normally done this, 3 members of the family pulling together to focus on one thing. Normally, things are quite disjointed. We follow our own interests and see where it goes. But we thought, well, if we tied it together and had a focused approach, how would that work? We wanted to see the impact we could have. This collaborative approach reflects Diana's understanding that royal influence could be most effective when used strategically to address specific problems. Her decision in 1996 to reduce her charitable patronages from more than 100 organizations to just 6 reflected this same strategic thinking. Rather than spreading her influence across many causes, she chose to focus her efforts where she believed she could make the greatest impact. The continuation of Diana's anti-landmine work through Prince Harry's involvement with the Halo Trust demonstrates how her sons have chosen to maintain her most important campaigns. Harry became a patron of Halo for their 25th anniversary in 2013, directly continuing his mother's work to remove landmines and support affected communities. His participation in mine clearance operations in Mozambique and other countries has kept international attention focused on this ongoing humanitarian challenge. The Diana Award, established in 1999 as the only charity set up in memory of Diana, Princess of Wales, reflects her belief that young people have the power to change the world. The award recognizes young people aged 9 to 25 who have made significant social change or humanitarian contributions. This focus on empowering young people to create positive change directly reflects Diana's approach to charitable work and her belief in addressing problems at their root causes. The transformation of the royal family's approach to public engagement extends beyond charitable work to include a more general openness about personal challenges and family dynamics. The willingness of younger royals to discuss topics such as mental health, relationship difficulties, and the pressures of royal life represents a significant departure from the traditional royal approach of maintaining strict privacy about personal matters. This increased transparency has not been without controversy. Some royal observers have expressed concern that too much openness could undermine the dignity and mystique traditionally associated with the monarchy. However, public opinion polling consistently shows higher approval ratings for royals who engage in this more open style of public service. The decision to speak more candidly about Diana's death and its impact on the royal family has been particularly significant. For many years after her death, official royal communications maintained a reserved approach to discussing the tragedy. However, the willingness of William and Harry to speak openly about their grief, the impact on their mental health, and their efforts to honor their mother's memory has created a more human understanding of the royal family's experience. Prince William's efforts to ensure that his children understand their grandmother's legacy represents another important aspect of how Diana's influence continues to shape the royal family. His decision to keep photographs of Diana in his home and to speak about her regularly with his children ensures that her memory and values remain an active part of the family's life, rather than becoming simply historical reference points. The preservation and continuation of Diana's charitable legacy has required careful management of her memory and message. The Diana, Princess of Wales Memorial Fund, established after her death, continued her work until it closed in 2012, having distributed over £100 million to charitable causes. This institutional approach to maintaining her legacy has been complemented by her son's personal commitment to the values she represented. The question of how to balance privacy with public interest remains a central challenge for the royal family, particularly given Diana's experiences with media intrusion. The modern monarchy has had to develop new strategies for maintaining dignity and security, while meeting public expectations for transparency and accessibility. This balance has become even more complex in the digital age, with social media creating new opportunities and challenges for royal communication. the royal family's approach to crisis management has been fundamentally altered by the lessons learned from Diana's death and its aftermath. The initial failure to respond appropriately to public grief revealed the dangers of appearing disconnected from the people they serve. Subsequent crises have been handled with greater awareness of public sentiment and the need for emotional engagement from royal family members. The evolution of royal parenting practices reflects Diana's lasting influence on the institution. Her insistence on taking her sons to school personally when possible, organizing their public duties around their schedules, and ensuring they had normal childhood experiences has become the standard approach for the current generation of royal parents. William and Catherine's commitment to maintaining work-life balance and protecting their children's privacy while preparing them for future royal roles follows the template Diana established. The international dimension of Diana's legacy has also shaped how the modern royal family approaches global engagement. Her work on landmine clearance, AIDS awareness, and international humanitarian causes demonstrated how royal status could be used to address global challenges. This approach has been continued by her sons, with William focusing on environmental issues and Harry working on international development and veterans affairs. The changing nature of public expectations regarding royal behavior has been profoundly influenced by Diana's example. Her emotional openness, willingness to show vulnerability, and direct engagement with people facing difficulties created new standards for how royals should conduct themselves. The public now expects royal family members to be relatable, empathetic, and genuinely committed to the causes they support. The institutional response to Diana's legacy has involved careful consideration of how to honor her memory while maintaining royal tradition. The unveiling of a statue in her honor at Kensington Palace in 2021, attended by both William and Harry, represented an official acknowledgement of her importance to the royal family's history. However, it also highlighted the ongoing challenges facing her sons, who attended the ceremony separately due to their estranged relationship. The modernization of the monarchy has accelerated in recent years, with Diana's influence clearly visible in changing approaches to mental health, charitable work, and public engagement. The royal family's willingness to discuss personal struggles, support controversial causes, and maintain closer connections with ordinary people reflects the lasting impact of her example. However, this transformation has not been without controversy or resistance from those who prefer traditional royal approaches. The legacy of Princess Diana's approach to royal duty continues to influence debates about the future of the monarchy. Her emphasis on service, empathy, and authentic connection with the public has become a model for effective royal behavior in the modern era. The challenge for future generations will be maintaining these values while adapting to changing social expectations and global circumstances. The question of transparency versus privacy remains central to royal family decision-making, particularly regarding historical documents and personal information. While Diana's own letters and private correspondence have occasionally become public through auctions and authorized releases, the royal family continues to carefully control access to sensitive information. This balance between historical transparency and personal privacy reflects ongoing tensions between public interest and individual dignity. The transformation of the British monarchy following Princess Diana's death demonstrates how personal tragedy can catalyze institutional change. Her son's commitment to continuing her work while developing their own approaches to royal service has ensured that her influence remains a driving force in the evolution of one of the world's oldest institutions. The ongoing challenge is maintaining the balance between honoring her memory and adapting to contemporary needs and expectations. The impact of Diana's approach to royal service extends beyond charitable work to influence how the monarchy engages with contemporary social and political issues. Her willingness to address controversial topics and support marginalized communities has given her sons and their spouses greater freedom to tackle difficult subjects. This evolution represents a fundamental shift in royal behavior that continues to shape the institution's relationship with the public it serves. The lasting impact of Princess Diana's approach to royal duty continues to shape the British monarchy nearly 3 decades after her death. Her influence extends far beyond the specific charitable causes she championed, fundamentally altering how the institution connects with the public and adapts to contemporary social expectations. The concept of the Diana effect has become a recognized phenomenon in discussions about modern monarchy. Royal historians use this term to describe the ongoing influence of her approach to public service, which emphasized emotional connection, personal vulnerability, and direct engagement with social issues. This effect can be observed in virtually every aspect of contemporary royal behavior. Prince William's role as heir to the throne has been fundamentally shaped by his mother's example. His decision to serve as a search and rescue pilot for nearly 8 years before taking on full-time royal duties reflected Diana's belief that royal family members should have genuine experience of life outside palace walls. His choice to pursue meaningful work demonstrated a modern understanding of royal responsibility that can be traced directly to his mother's influence. The collaborative approach to charitable work, pioneered by William, Catherine, and Harry through initiatives like Heads Together, has become a model for how the royal family can maximize its impact on important social issues. This strategic coordination represents a significant departure from the traditional royal approach of individual patronages and ceremonial appearances. Catherine, Princess of Wales, has embraced many aspects of Diana's approach while developing her own distinctive style. Her focus on early childhood development, mental health awareness, and addiction issues reflects the same willingness to tackle complex social problems that characterize Diana's work. Catherine's hands-on approach to her patronages continues the tradition of meaningful royal involvement that Diana established. The continued relevance of Diana's charitable causes demonstrates the lasting impact of her strategic approach to philanthropy. The Halo Trust, which works to remove landmines, has cleared more than 92,000 landmines from Angola alone since Diana's death, contributing significantly to that country's post-conflict recovery and development. The transformation of royal parenting practices initiated by Diana continues to influence how younger royals raise their children. The decision to send royal children to regular schools, involve them in charitable activities from a young age, and provide them with experiences beyond royal circles, has become the established approach for the current generation. The establishment of the Diana Award, as the only charity set up in memory of Diana, reflects her enduring belief in the power of young people to create positive change. The award continues to recognize young people who demonstrate exceptional commitment to improving their communities and addressing social challenges. The way Diana's legacy has been managed and preserved by her sons demonstrates their understanding of its continued importance. Their decision to speak openly about her influence on their lives and work helps maintain public awareness of her values and approach to royal duty. The commissioning of documentaries, the establishment of memorial projects, and their continued support for causes she championed all serve to keep her example relevant for contemporary audiences. The broader cultural impact of Diana's approach to public service has influenced how celebrities and public figures engage with social causes. Her model of using fame and platform to draw attention to important but difficult issues has been adopted by numerous public figures around the world. As the monarchy continues to evolve in response to changing social expectations, the foundation laid by Diana's approach provides a framework for meaningful engagement with modern issues. Her demonstration that institutional dignity and emotional accessibility could coexist has created possibilities for a more human, relatable monarchy that can address current social challenges while maintaining its historical significance. The lasting transformation of the British monarchy initiated by Princess Diana represents one of the most significant institutional changes of the late 20th century. Through her example, she showed that tradition and modernity could be successfully combined, creating a template for royal service that remains relevant and impactful nearly 3 decades after her death.